be seeing wonderful programs. With this, I will introduce Cristiana. So Cristiana Eltrayan works as a therapist, international holistic speaker and author. Her workshops and classes have as a main theme the energetic nourishment, the Taoist emotional intelligence, and pranic methods of healing and recalibration converging to the consciousness of unity. With her work of Soul Healing Academy, she has created several projects including the Pranic Consciousness Summit, Pranic Festival in Romania, Pranic Festival in India, the Pranic Consciousness Process. She is also a peace ambassador at the Embassy of Peace. She is now also practicing the soul healing holistic therapy, which deals with the balance between body, mind, and soul, and deprogramming and reprogramming the energy field, and shares her experiences in the books, workshops, classes, and conferences. She is the author of 5 books, and today is going to be the discussion on the Pranic World Book that she has authored. With this, I welcome Cristiana to the program and share her wisdom to you. And you can write your questions in the chat window, and Cristiana will be answering them for us. You can give a short applause or showing the raise of hand.
Hello, everyone. I would love to have the video on if that's possible. Thank you very much.
Yes.
If you can turn on my video. Turn on my video. Because
try once.
I haven't managed to do it myself. In the meantime, I would like to say hi to everyone. Namaste. Blessings from all my heart. Happy holidays, because we're in a...
I think you can turn on the video from your side.
Yes, I can now. I am live. Oh, okay. 1 second. It seems the camera needs to be... There was something about the camera. There I am. Happy to see you, everyone, and happy to be seen by you. Very grateful for your presence. We are in an amazing time, almost at the passage between the years and also in the full moon. So we're having this amazing time together. We're going to be in this webinar for about 30 minutes or 45 minutes because it's holiday and I have another class right after. So I need to somehow juggle with the length of this webinar so that we all get our, get what we need. I would love for this webinar to be interactive. So there's a Q&A session on Zoom. If you're on Zoom, there's a Q&A. There's a button at the lower part of your video. Click on that and ask your questions, or better yet, place them directly in the chat. It's better to place them directly in the chat because that helps us, know what you want to know about the topic of today. So the topic of today is pranic lifestyle, or the life of the people who are on a spiritual path, practicing yoga, qigong, meditation, or aiming for a spiritual path, and on a pranic journey, a journey of attaining pranic consciousness, or the consciousness of unity. So that's why if you are on a spiritual path, if you are already on this journey, I invite you to ask specific questions about this. Vina invited me to talk about the newest book that I've issued, the one called the Pranic World Book. This is a book where I talk very much about the pranic lifestyle, the ability to be nourished by light, chi, or prana, and the ability to maintain the health of the body without having the necessity of too much physical food. So I actually know people, and that includes myself, that are eating very little or not at all for many, many tens of years. I have friends who for more than 10 or 20 years are not needing physical food at all. You have also your sages in your scriptures or writings, like the autobiography of a yogi, or even in the Patanjali Yoga Sutra, this feature or this ability has been referred to, and people have talked about.
Yeah. So meanwhile, to give a gist of her book, I have gone through her book and I fell in love with the beauty of the book. She talks more about lot of healing modalities like crystals, how we can use for emotional healing, aromatherapy for healing, sea salt for healing, qigong, and also Lucius lifestyle programs, and how we can use aloe vera juices, golden milk, what is golden milk, how they will benefit, and how we can communicate with the universe, and what is the importance of a pranic diet, how it will elevate our abilities, the psychic or extrasensory perception, and how we can be connected to the whole world. The book is very beautiful. Her work is very phenomenal, and definitely you can write your questions on those lines. So it is also to elevate our consciousness to a whole different dimension and have clarity
Okay.
of what is going on. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Bina. And I'm so happy that you've read my book. I'm happy to hear that people, have gone through the book and to hear your feedback. It's been for 2 years that it's already on Amazon. We finished it in 2018. So now people can benefit from it. I want to make sure that now you can hear me better. Is there any issue now, or is it all okay?
It's clear, very clear.
It's clear. Okay, so maybe something in the sound system needed to be adjusted. I'm just gonna try to make sure that my speaker is in the right position. Anyway, so this book, yeah, has had the purpose to help people understand what a pranic path is, what a pranic lifestyle is, and how we can all head into that direction without damaging our body and with maintaining our health. I have worked with more than, with thousands of people that have followed and are following a spiritual path, a pranic path. I've had private sessions with them, one-on-one, and or conferences and live sessions, and the program that I'm teaching since 2013, the Pranic Consciousness program that we have just finished tonight as a Christmas retreat. All those tools have helped me understand what people need on this path and on the spiritual path in general. I've noticed that people can get sometimes very imbalanced without while not having clear guidance on their spiritual path. Some start meditating or using various methods of meditation, but without grounding themselves at the end, and that's very, very detrimental for the physical body and for um, the general state. So we need to always know what to do when we start meditate. We need to know what to eat on a spiritual path, and we need to know how to raise our frequency in order to be consistent and constant in our upliftment, to not go up and down, and oscillate too much, because this very oscillation that some people are having, being up and very high for a while, and then being for a while being down, and sometimes depressed. This oscillation is making many people think that spiritual path is not for them, or to give up, or to start eating heavier food because they think vegetarianism doesn't help, or veganism isn't good, or juice fasting isn't efficient, because they don't have the practices and techniques to hold good frequency, a high frequency, a frequency of kindness, compassion, and harmony for a longer time. There's just short amounts of joy, and then and then the frequency drops and they feel very, very heavy, right? So that's why we recommend to have a practice, a daily practice for everyone, a daily spiritual practice, and tools and techniques to use for uplifting your frequency. And that's what we teach in the Pranic process online. And we share it maybe every month or every couple of months if I'm not traveling, just to be able to help people understand how a spiritual journey can be in harmony. This class is available in video now, so you can, even when we're not sharing it online, you can still watch it in video, 8 webinars from the comfort of your home, and learn how to stay consistent and uplifted on your pranic path. So let's see the questions. Somebody is asking, can I share about the saints who lived on prana in India and Western world, like Prahlad Jani? How grace along with meditation plays an important role in our lives? That's another question. And I've seen another interesting one.
How to align to prana frequency and allowing
how to align to prana frequency and circulate it to nourish our body. First, I'm going to take this one because that's the most important. How to align to pranic frequency and allow it to nourish our body. That's what this book entails, and the pranic process online details, right? We talk about first the fact that we need to detox our body. A body that is full of toxins or blockages cannot circulate energy very well. The energy channels where prana is supposed to flow into, the nadis, that's how we call them in Hindu tradition, they get blocked if the body is not detoxed or if there's clutter in the energy body as well. So first, detox, right? Start with the physical detox. You have the Shamprakshalana technique, where you drink salt water or sauerkraut juice and, clean your own digestive system, or you can do colonics. You can have juice fasting for a few days. 3 to 9 days would be very beneficial, because with juices you're still nourished, but you clear out the garbage in your digestive tract. Using plants for detox, you have a lot of Ayurvedic plants that can detox your body. And please don't notify me that my voice is interrupting, because I don't have a solution for this. I don't know what to do. Yes, so this is not something that I can resolve from where I am now. It's the same office that I'm working every day. We can
maybe you can
like this, or I can
start. Now it's fine.
Or I can sign in and sign out if you want, and maybe the connection will be better. But if I keep being interrupted with the same message, I cannot focus, because I'm channeling information. I'm not talking from
you just don't change
or something. So
don't change the input, that audio, the wire. That's all.
No, not at all. I'm just sitting still and speaking. Okay. But there's somebody in the audience who keeps saying the voice. Yes, the voice is what it is. We cannot change that. We hope the recording will be better. I don't know what to do. Okay, I'm apologizing for this, but it's not our fault. Okay. Okay, I'm trying to get back to what I was saying. Detox, right? The thing that is most important is to detox your physical body, then to move into detoxing your emotions and mind is very, very important as well. Until you detox your mind will be jumping up and down. Well, you won't be able to focus, or you're focused on the worst instead of focusing on the best. And that will decrease your frequency. So mastering your mind is really, really important on a spiritual path. And taking care of your emotions, that's also crucial to clear your nadis and your auric field. The people who have lots of cluttered emotions, you can see their auric field looking like, looking very cluttered itself. So it's best to clear your emotions if you want to have your prana circulating through your body, and if you want to have a lighter diet, because when people eat, they very often eat for emotional reasons, and that's why much of their frequency is decreasing and much of their body is getting cluttered, right? So that's important to know. So detox would be the first answer to the question. The second thing is to have, like I was saying, consistent, constant day-to-day spiritual practice. If you only meditate once in a while when you remember, or if you don't move your body enough and it's getting cluttered, I mean, it's best to do yoga and qigong every day, or even sports like weightlifting, running, skating, whatever, dancing, whatever works for you. That's what works with your body and helps it circulate energy, right? When you're feeling stuck, go move your body and it will move your energy. Um, so there's basically 8 steps that are answering to your question. Meditation, lighten up your diet, detox your emotional, physical, and mental body. Treat your body like a temple and exercise it as much as possible. Clear your mind and focus your thoughts and master your thoughts. Try to connect daily to the universal force and to something bigger than your mind, and to feel connected to your saints and sages and beings of light and whoever you feel it's helping you from the higher realms. Do selfless service. Do what you feel that you can do with your heart open, and do it just because you can. Do it just because it's a joy to do it. Do it out of joy, right? That's another thing that helps prana circulate through your body. Be playful like a child. Maintain a playful life, and don't take yourself too seriously, and don't take your activities too seriously. Like me now, if this thing is working, I'm very happy. If it's not working, we're meant to do it some other time, and I'm still happy about it, you know. So don't take things too personal and too serious, and try to spend as much time in silence when possible, and in nature, because nature clears your energy channels. Also, use the sound and music wisely. Don't clutter yourself with music that is full of negativity and bad words. And try to use devotional music and mantras to clear up your field and to uplift your frequency. Those would be simple steps that you can use from the comfort of your home to raise your vibration and keep the prana flowing. And we expand on this and we give clear insights and practices during the Pranic process online that is on my website, and you can have it in video. In the book, the Pranic World book, you also have a lot of scientific facts about pranic nourishment and prana, and what the cells do, and what the ATP does, and what's happening in the pineal gland, and all that, those discoveries in science that are available now. And you actually have a very down-to-earth take on this subject. So it's no longer just a spiritual thing for sages and saints. It's something very down to earth that also doctors and physicists and geneticists and engineers have been practicing and attaining. And I have been an event organizer. I haven't been a spiritual leader or spiritual master in my first in my 20s, you know, and up until my 30s. So if it works for me, it can work for everyone, right? You can always change your life and start being deeper into alignment with your divine self, and from there your body is nourished. Somebody was asking me about the saints and sages of India and other countries that have attained this state. The first reference that I've heard of was Giri Bala, was a lady who was described in the autobiography of a yogi, right? She was in the States since she was 16. But there were so many others, like many books of yours make reference to saints that are attaining this state. But the ones that I'm feeling to talk about is the ones I met, because when you personally meet a person, you know that this exists and it is real. And as I was saying, in the Pranic Festival in India this March, we had Prahlad Jani with us. This is a yogi, a beautiful family, I felt him to be for me, that is living on prana since was living on prana since his adolescence. So he was in the state for 75 years when I met him, no needing to take food and water. And he has traveled at 92 years old. He has traveled to Bangalore to meet us at our festival. And he has given a conference there and has blessed the people. And he was so alive and vital, and he has helped the doctor who has tested him in the hospital because the doctor was having an issue. He fell into a water. So he helped everyone, he blessed everyone. He was very active and strong at 92 years old, and that he was a living proof of this deep state of consciousness that can nourish us all. I'm going to share screen as soon as I find my pictures with him from Pyramid Valley, and that's how you can see him. Fortunately, short after I left India in this March, he left his body. We were meant to see each other one more time before that, but as I said, unfortunately, he left his body before we got to meet again. So now it's no longer possible to meet him in person, but his spirit is still very active and very much guiding the ones who have been his disciples. And he's also helping me a lot with particularly bridging the scientific part with the holistic part on this pranic journey, because I'm having this job of helping scientists understand it and study it. So this is me with Prahlad Jani in India in Pyramid Valley this March, right at the end of the festival. You can see him being in a very deep meditative state even when we were traveling. And of course, many people had joined us and wanted to be around him and film him and have blessings. And he was quite secluded, you know, as a saint. He wasn't, you know, necessarily touching people or having people close by. But in this particular case, we were very close. And as I said, it was like family that has regathered for me and him. And he allowed me to do some very beautiful videos where he allowed me to test his chakras and his channel where Amrita flows. He actually put my finger on his roof of the mouth to help me see where his Amrita flows. So that's something very unusual for such a saint, right? But he wanted to help humanity see that this is possible, to help humanity understand that this is real. And probably he was already knowing that he's going to leave his body. So he wanted to leave this legacy for people to be able to watch later. So this has been my experience with Prahlad Jani, and I'm in deep sadness that I don't get to meet him again in person, even though I am communicating with him in spirit. It's hard to not have a family member around you after you've just rejoined with him. You know, that's how I'm feeling now about this gathering. There are tens of other people that are on this path for a long time, like Jasmuheen, who's the global president of the Congress for Spiritual Scientists in India. And other colleagues that are on this journey for 20 years, not needing food or water. Some are for 10 years. If you go on my YouTube, Cristiana Eltrayan, you'll find the recent video that we did this Christmas during the Christmas retreat with one of my colleagues called Victor Troviano, who hasn't taken food or water for about 9 years. And now he's only drinking water and tea. And he has been a guest in our Pranic retreat and has talked to us. And he often comes to the Pranic festivals. He might come to India in March of 2021. And we organized a lot of events with him as well. I myself have been on this journey for 10 years. I've started from simple steps of detoxing my body and deep meditation, a few hours per day. And I've added several practices like Qigong and yoga and other deep practices that are clearing my channels and energy chakras every day. And over the years, my frequency has shifted because it's not about dropping food, it's about lifting your frequency. So my frequency has shifted, and now it's no longer so necessary for me to take that much physical food. Most of the time, I prefer to not take physical food and just drink various types of, teas or juices or water. Today, I've just had water and a little pineapple juice, and this is what I'm having for the rest of the day. I prefer that because it keeps my body really light. But I do have a daily spiritual practice of several hours. So we need you to understand that if you stop eating without an energy practice, you seriously jeopardize your body and your life. And we warn you to not try this at home without having the clear understanding of the fact that your energy, that everything is energy, and the clear knowledge of how to run it through your body. Otherwise, many people get very imbalanced, and I know because I am a therapist for those people and for many other people, and it's necessary that you do practice really daily to maintain the state, especially now when the global conditions are focused on worry and despair, right? To raise above that is really, really important, and that requires practice. I see another question asking, what is pranic consciousness and how to access the highest state of consciousness? How community can work towards it? We are all heading towards that state. The pranic consciousness is the consciousness of unity, the consciousness of or being aware that you are united with all and connected with all, and that everything is one, and that we're all connected. We know that for some of you, this is hard to understand because most people feel separated from each other at the limit of their physical body. They think their being is ending, and that the being of another person begins at the limit of that one's skin, right? Which is untrue. We are far more expanded than our skin shows, and we're far more expanded than our bodies, and our consciousness goes all the way up to the stars and all the way up to stars, and this is where we've descended from. So when you are aware of your multidimensional nature, and that awareness is being gained through meditation, through stilling your mind, to getting back to your center, that's when your awareness of pranic consciousness begins. That's when you feel your consciousness expanding, you feel your unity state and your ability to feel connected with everything. Like I could feel what you feel, I could hear what you think, I could sense the future events and all that stuff if I were interested in this, right? What I'm truly interested in now is to stay centered and to rest. But these abilities are allowing my colleagues and myself to remote heal, to help people better understand the patterns of their life, to instantly heal and recalibrate the auric field and the energy body and physical body of people, or masses of people as well. This state of awareness helps you, calibrate the biofields around you very quickly. And that's what we do with the soul healing therapy that I'm practicing. So I hope this is relevant for your question. Another thing that I've written about in the book is the fact that breatharianism has been tested in hospitals, or the pranic nourishment has been tested in hospitals. So this is something that has been demonstrated scientifically. It's not just a little thing that spiritual people do. So Pralajani, the one I've been speaking about and I've been showing pictures about, has been tested twice in the hospital of Ahmedabad by a team of 35 specialists, including neurologists, cardiologists, and other physicians that are really, really renowned. The director is now a friend of mine, but a renowned neurologist that is very, very respected in the medical community in India and abroad. And one of the studies has been ordered by the Ministry of Defense of India. So they've also monitored Pralajani because they were willing to understand how this is possible. And if people can eat less, then that would be good for the military forces that can not use so many resources or be in jeopardy of dying of hunger in harsh conditions. So that's why they thought it would be useful to study the phenomenon. And thus, twice in 10 days and 14 days, it has been proven through very, very accurate scanning, and with every advanced device that is out there, it has been proven that even though this saint wasn't eating or drinking, his body functions were perfectly normal and even more energetic than normal people, right? So this has been tested and proven. I've personally seen my study, so it's not just a gossip that we've heard in the newspapers. And this is real stuff. And in Pranic festivals, many other people have been tested. They've been shown to be able to modify their weight while sleeping or meditating. Their weight can go up and down, so it's no longer depending on the external resources of food. Their weight can be modified by energy, actually. And I know this is something hard to understand, but if you read my book with the scientific explanations of how it's happening, you can better encompass this phenomenon. We also write about how the pineal and pituitary glands are being influenced by meditation and how they are then helping to regulate the production of ATP. ATP is the very energy that nourishes our cells. So that's why it's important that we have a lot of it to be energized and nourished, right? And melatonin seems to have an important role in the regulation of ATP, of this substance or energy that nourishes our cells. So when we meditate, the more we produce melatonin. So meditation seems to be the main key to pranic nourishment. The more you still your mind and go into the alpha theta states, if you know the brain waves, the more you get this melatonin production to increase, and then you have more energy, basically. Also, it has been proven that melatonin increases with fasting. So when you fast for several days, the production of melatonin in your digestive system is 500% more than in your brain. So fasting helps melatonin develop. Melatonin has many benefits on health, happiness, and body functions, but also it increases the quantity of ATP. So the more you fast, the less hungry you are. That's a conclusion when you meditate and practice energy practices. So that's very important. The pineal gland seems to shift during this state, and especially if you do sun gazing, which is the practice of looking at the sun, morning, sunrise and sunset. The pineal has also an important role in the production of melatonin, and that's why sun gazing also helps on a pranic path. It's prana coming from sun, or energy coming from sun. And we've actually proven that it's only the lifestyle that keeps us on a pranic path. If we have a lifestyle of agitation, treating our body bad, binging on whatever comes our way, and unhealthy relationships or unhealthy sexual sharing even, that's not going to take us very far. And if we start sinking into our emotional troubles, and Vina is asking, and I'm going to reply to this, that's just going to destabilize our system. So the more we are aware of our relationships, our sexuality, our emotions, our couple life, and our life in general here on earth, and lifestyle and what we contribute to it, the more we can harmonize. And because that's very important, tonight at 7, which is India time, 10:30 p.m., we have a class of 3 hours, a class where we talk a lot about relationships, emotions, and pranic nourishment and kundalini. So we address tantra, sexuality, relationships, and the circulation of prana with the kundalini energy, right? So we learn more about how to master these aspects. And you can access this class by going to the website, soulhealingacademy.com. There's still places to join because it's online, and you can be with us for the whole evening to be able to learn more about emotions, sexuality, energy circulation, and how to be in harmony with your partner and with your family and the dear ones in general, right? Because that's the most important thing and the most powerful thing that can destabilize you emotionally. So we talk about that, and we talk about conscious sharing in sexual life, which is something really, really important for people. We give tips of energy circulation. We give tips of energy transmutation for the ones who are specialized or at least have heard of Tantra. And we learn how to have a healthier, intimate sharing. So this is something not many people are talking about, and I'm feeling to address it because it's part of the evolution of humanity and the evolution of a community. Okay, so join that class if you want to know more on this. And those of you watching on Facebook, it's in the description of the video, so you can find it there. How to move from carbon to crystal-based structure is basically the same answer as the question about how to circulate prana. We are naturally moving from carbon to crystal as a result of human evolution. Our bodies are naturally shifting their essence, their chemical composition, if you will, from carbon to crystal, which is why we need to have a lighter diet and a better way of treating our bodies, because our bodies are more and more sensitive, are more and more accurate, and they require a higher energy fuel. So it's no longer working for us to have the type of nourishment that we were having before. If we try to have that and keep insisting in having the junk food or the bad stuff that we were using before, the body collapses. And that's why so many people are leaving Earth right now, because their body, who is transforming, is no longer adapting to the type of fuel and the type of body treatment or the way we handle it in the regular lifestyle that people have. You know, that's no longer working, and we need to change that. So if you're on Zoom, Facebook, and Instagram, there's links in comments or in bio to join the later class. Okay, another thing that I feel to address is that not everyone has the same recipe. So I'm telling you, perfect. Sukata has actually asked the thing that I was going to address, and I haven't even seen it. I was just looking at the summary of my book. Not everybody has the same recipe for a pranic path, right? Somebody is asking, can a normal person be a pranic being? And by adopting all of its regular activities. I believe everyone can be, to a certain percentage, a pranic being, yes. If you practice the practices that I've just referred to, you no longer are a normal person. You become, you start to become kind of super normal a little bit. You know, you start to develop your abilities, your sensitivity increases, you're more sensitive to energy, you're more sensitive to healing. You can actually start to also heal others if you develop that ability. You start to feel and sense what's happening with you and around you. You're more aware of your connection to everything, and that's, you know, not necessarily what we would call normal. You know, for me, it is the normal. That's how we were created to be. But yes, when you practice the practices that I've told you about, these things start to increase, and your energy channels and chakras are more open. And that's when you become closer, or yes, closer to the state of being a pranic being, or actually you become a pranic being. And because you're channeling more prana through your body. That's the thing, you know, that's what pranic being means. And you feel more connection to the whole energy field. And that's what your practice is doing. So the answer is yes. The thing that I was feeling to add before you seeing your question is that there is a diversity in this world, and not everyone has the same recipe. So if for me it works very well to have meditation, yoga, and qigong and dancing, for you it might be necessary to do more selfless service, or to do more heavy lifting activities for your muscles, for example, or move more. Or it would be more useful to use more sacred sounds that harmonize your body, or to add more juices instead of solid food. So everyone has his own path, and we are actually offering in my class the the right amount of practice for each of these techniques, right? You can have your personalized recipe. We give measurement tools where you can measure yourself and know how to shift your practice when necessary. And we say that everyone has a specific rhythm and they adapt to their own rhythm. So I've met tens of people that are very advanced in their pranic path, not eating for many, many years and being very high state of consciousness, but not one of them has had the exact same recipe or practice like the other. So in this book, we're having the pranic diversity is a full chapter that refers to my colleagues and how they do it and how each one is different from the other, right? So to be in tune with your higher self helps you know what works for you. So getting in tune to your higher self is always tuning into it through meditation and daily practice. And the end result of a pranic state is not always the state of never eating again. That's also a thing that I felt to always make clear about. There's people who have been in the state for months or years, but when they felt to go back to food, they are now in a state of autonomy where they don't need it, but they can take food from time to time. I myself have had the state of not being able to eat at all for weeks or sometimes a longer time, but I'm not depending on the fact that I'm not eating. So my consciousness stays as high when I choose to take some solid food like almonds or soup or potatoes, and when I choose to be on juices or water. My consciousness doesn't shift. What might shift if I would insist to take solid food daily in larger quantities, my health or my body flexibility might shift, you know? So that's why I don't do it. That's why I prefer to stay on light food and very much liquid food, because it shifts the quality of my body flexibility or my body comfort, right? But my consciousness stays the same now, no matter what I choose, right? So that's another thing to be aware of. And also, I work a lot with the energy vortexes of the world, the pranic portals. We've talked about that in the other gathering, and I also refer to it in the book. This is something that I've been working with for more than 8 or 9 years, and it helps us when we tune into these aspects. It helps us be more aware of the connection of the connection we have with our planet and the way the planet is patterned or created as energy grid work. So you are aware that planet has also chakras. You are aware that it has primary and secondary chakras. You're aware of how to tune into them, how to work with them if they need some clearing or healing, and all that stuff is part of the pranic lifestyle. And I refer to this in this book too. I talk about the sacred sites, the energy vortexes, and how we can actually open and maintain portals in certain areas that are nourishing people and that are uplifting the consciousness of humanity. This is one of my jobs. And Vina just asked about it. So you see, I don't look much at the chat box, but I'm perceiving your questions telepathically to some degree. And then when I look, I see that somebody has actually asked about it. So I'm surprised to see that Vina has just addressed that. What are pranic portals and how they help leap the planetary consciousness? Yes, when we activate these portals, when we work with them and we help them clear and heal, it's like our chakras. The more you heal your chakras, the more active and powerful you are. It's the same with the planet. When the planet has her chakras active, cleared, and healed, it functions better, and that nourishes ourselves as well. I'm going to show you something that I'm having here. I'm hoping to get it in front of the camera in a better way. So here it is. This is my planet in a crystal shaped device. It's a device created by a scientist that has created it with the purpose of, you know, the way it spins and the energy it emanates. It helps balance the field of the house it's in or of the space it's in. I'm just going to lift it up to better position it in camera. And in this device, why I'm showing it to you is that you can actually see the planetary grid, how it is around the planet, right? So you see this matrix or net around the planet. This matrix is actually the planetary grid where all the chakras and the vortexes are rooted in. So all they communicate with this grid that is like a spider's net or a light net around the planet. You see how beautiful? And this is where your energy comes from. So the energy comes from the heart of the central sun into the planetary grid, into this matrix, and then it comes into your body. And the more you're connected with the planet, the more you feel it. So for now, that would be all. Thank you so much for your questions. I hope I addressed most of your curiosity. And I'm happy that you're curious about it. I hope to see you in 1 hour to the next class that we're having, the Prana, Intimacy and Kundalini class. You find it in the link of the website that I've told you about, soulhealingacademy.com/events. On Facebook, it's in the comments and description, and it's also in the chat box of this Zoom. Let me see, I'm placing it again for you to be able to join it. And on Instagram, it's in the bio. So you find it all in all of my channels. If you go, if you go on them, you're gonna find it there. And I've been really happy to spend to have this hour with you and to be with you. And I'm really grateful for your presence and for your interest in this topic. Thank you so much for being here. You can contact me on my Facebook page, Cristiana Eltrayan. You can watch my YouTube channel, Cristiana Eltrayan, and you can also write to me on my email. All the contact data is on my website, soulhealingacademy.com, at the contact section. And from there, we can start our journey together. If you're into looking into our classes or private sessions, healing sessions 101, or Pranic processes, I just need Pranic processes 101 that we can have together for 7 sessions that we're doing for deepening the pranic state, clearing your trauma or blockages, and finding solutions for whatever comes to be healed into your lives. I love you all. I'm really grateful. I hope the sound has been okay eventually, and I'm looking forward for the next webinar whenever it is, and I'm also looking forward to seeing you in the class of tonight. Big hugs.
Yeah, thank you so much for all the attendees, and thank you, Cristiana. We are looking forward for dark room retreat webinar maybe. Thank you.
Yes, after we rest a little at the beginning of this year, I'm going to have a next webinar with you, and we'll see what topic needs to come next. But for a week or two, I'm going to just snooze out. Big hugs and blessings.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Happy New Year, everyone. Yes, happy to cross